What is up, all you beautiful people? It's AkemiTCG, back here with a brand new podcast. This time, this is going to be the fourth one. We have a special guest. His name is Brian Rodriguez. What's up, dude?
What's up, man? What's going on YouTube? How everybody doing today?
So, this man, I met him at a regionals. I believe it was it the one in Providence?
Yes, it was in Rhode Island. That's where we met. We matched up, and you beat me 2-1, I believe.
Yeah, with Crusadia.
Yeah, if I knew how to play against it much better then than like I do now, different story, buddy.
Yeah, I remember we had a judge call where I summoned Gameciel. You waited to Nibiru me after I summoned Gameciel with the counters on it, and then the judge ruled you couldn't do that because you misread Gameciel. You remember that?
Yeah, I definitely mistimed it. If I just hit you on that second Saryuja, I definitely would have gotten it right then and there,
absolutely,
and most likely
dude.
have won.
Yeah, I'm 100% sure you would have won that one. Alright, so I was intrigued by his zombie deck. We've kept in touch since, and he's going to showcase to us his Master Rule 5 zombie deck. Do you want to say any words before we give him the deck? Like why you play
Well,
zombies?
I will definitely say this. This build has changed tremendously since the January 2020 ban, because I used to play Zombie Orcus when Harp Horror was at 3.
Mm-hmm.
And it used to just wreck the meta. Like Zombie World with the Orcus combo and Doom King in the standby phase with the face down crescendo. It just too much interruption, too much to go around, and the only way to beat the board was evenly, and even then crescendo had the negate.
Ah, okay, so if they couldn't even bait out your crescendo, then they can't even evenly you afterwards, right?
Exactly. So I had it pretty much set up right then and there, and I also had Boardload Savage to go with that too. I had a real spicy combo back then.
Wow, that sounds insane, and there's probably a reason why Harp got banned, so...
Oh man, these last two ban lists have hurt my feelings so bad. They banned all my dangers, they banned my boy Harp. So this is the build I've come up with, and it's been really consistent, honestly. And I do expect Jet Synchron to get banned, so expect the deck to change at around the next ban list.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Are you ready? Do you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Alright, we're gonna go right in. My man's playing zombies. Yeah. Alright, here's your build. Is this the correct build?
Yes, this is the build we were just talking about before anything.
Okay, so first things first. So, a slew of questions before we go into the deck itself. 42 cards. Is there a reason why it's 42 and not 40? Like, does it feel like it hurts with consistency since you have 42
Honestly,
cards?
playing 42, I normally like to play 43, but I've been seeing a lot more consistency cutting it to 42.
Mm-hmm.
And basically every card has its purpose in here. I can probably cut like the Marauding Captains and still have the same consistency. But Marauding's that card that just allows me to link climb really high, because on his normal summon, I can special summon any level 3 or lower from any level 4 or lower monster from my hand. So that allows Needle Fiber plays. It allows more extension into like cards like IP, Vampire Sucker, Barricade Borg, Union Carrier, maybe even push for an Access Code Talker.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good.
Okay. So, just one more thing. I know there's a lot of questions, but why zombies, dude? Why not any other deck that's out there right now? I mean, there's so many options in terms of the dark decks. We have Eldritch, we have all these other cool decks. So why zombies?
So when I got back into Yu-Gi-Oh! About 4 years ago, I didn't really get like much cards, and I only had very little bit of cards, but I always had like this massive amount of zombie cards. And I just started playing zombies, and as I learned how to play the game and understand cards again and learn how to use link monsters and all of that, I started to realize like zombies have a lot of potential. They just need a few cards.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously we got Eldritch now, we got all that good back row, and it's very good with the Aurora Dawn Duskbot combo. It's so good.
Mm-hmm.
But
right.
I'm not a back row kind of person. Like, I don't like to really play back row. And yes, it can combo off and still set the back row, but I've always liked just being able to just combo off with just a lot of monsters and spells.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just been really good for me on my end, honestly. And zombies is just my favorite deck ever. Zombie World is just the ultimate null to a lot of meta decks. Dinos auto win. Salamangreat, auto win because you can't make Balinks. There's no Sanctuary, so
Right.
there's no reincarnated Link. Um, Doom King is just the best boss monster in the main deck right now. Just two forms of interruption with a negate and a banish.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really free, honestly. Then, as you can look into the extra deck, you see cards like IP and Appaloosa. You got the Avermax. There's a lot of cards that really got synergy with this deck, and it just makes so much sense to play it in this order.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Without further ado, let's jump right into this deck. All right. Two Apprentice Illusion. What is the reasoning for this?
So this card is really broken outside of Dark Magicians because it just says discard any card to special summon this card. So
Mm-hmm.
pitching the Doom King, the Jet Synchron, the Mizuki, the Necroworld Banshee, the O-Lion, the Dangers to get a danger effect. It's just free and just allow me to dump cards into the grave freely. And I
Mm-hmm.
only play it at 2 because I don't want to really see it a lot. Like
Yeah.
it's just a combo extender. It's not something I want to draw as my last card or top deck as my last card.
Okay. Have you considered playing if you're only summoning it for the discard purposes because it's a free summon, right? Basically,
Yes, it's
and
just
for
free.
like a
Just
double plus because you want your cards in the graveyard anyways. You want your Solitaire, you want your Unizombie in the graveyard, you want your Mizukis in the graveyard, right?
yeah, and it just allows a free extension like into link plays.
Have you considered playing the Tricky? Do you know what that card does?
Yeah, he's a very old card, classic card at that.
So the only
I,
minus is you summon him and it's a level 5, right? But you have to discard one same way, but it's a wind. So I don't know if like you play Super Poly or anything in a future build or upcoming build, but with this you could possibly make, level 8 synchros because I see an Arborea there.
yeah, I mean he pretty much does the same thing. I've just thought about it more so of like what's more. He's just more stronger in this case. They're both the same attack. She just has a higher defense in that case.
Oh, okay, okay, copy.
And she's also a dark possibly just to do other plays.
Mm-hmm.
And I do play the O line, which is a level 2. I do have a lot of cards that can add up to level 8, and
Yeah.
Unizombie also can up himself at least 2 levels. Also, I could make Apprentice into a level 8 to possibly do other things if I had rank 8 plays.
Okay, got it, got it. All right, let's move on to Ash Blossom, the triple Ash.
Well, Triple Ash. This is actually my addition to the deck because now that I'm not playing the Zombie Orcus portion of it,
Mm-hmm.
it's been more so consistent with this, and it allows me to do everything I need to do. It works really well with Doom King. I can just chain Doom King with Ash and banish another monster on the field, especially if it's their normal summon too. It just locks them out.
Okay, got it. All right, double Arborea. This seems to be like a spicy tech that you put in here.
So Arborea is just a free special summon, as you know, because you play
Of
Crusaders, and
course.
she's another way to protect the Avermax. And with that being said, she's also just a speedway into Needle Fiber, because if I have Marauding Captain and normal summon, I can just special the Arborea and then go into Needle Fiber and go from there. Needle
Mm.
Fiber says all.
Right. Okay, it's clean. It's a good tuner. Has good stats. Gives protection, and a lot of people don't know about Arborea's protection part, so that can throw
It's a
people
very
off guard.
it's a very good effect, especially if you're playing cards like Avermax, because it just helps you protect your
Mm.
Avermax. And for people that don't know what Avermax does when it does leave the field, it just bounces a card back to the deck and it just says goodbye.
Right. Okay. Now the danger package: one Mothman, one Nessie, one Jackalope, one Tsuchinoko.
So if they would just stop hitting all my dangers, all these would be maxed out. But one Mothman is good because I don't want to really allow my opponent to get extra cards or discard cards. So playing it at 1 is reasonable,
Mhm.
and just having the dangers are just like free draw fodder or discard fodder just to get other effects off. So playing the standard one-ofs are fine, and the one Mothman sits really well with the deck because obviously you want cards in the graveyard. You want your Doom King in the grave, you want your Mizuki in the grave.
Right. So they just have like perfect synergy with this deck.
perfect synergy. And if they were all at 2, like they should have been, this deck would be looking a lot different and a lot more draw fodder.
Yeah, those are good times when these guys were at 3. All of these. Oh man, that was rough.
The beautiful time.
Was a Danger Thunder Dragon back in the day?
Yeah, I normally wanted to play a danger. I actually did test a danger zombie deck,
Mm-hmm.
and it was more like of a rank 8 base deck, but I just didn't see the consistency in it too much.
Right.
Just like, because cards like Bigfoot and Thunderbird do nothing in the grave if their opponent has nothing on the field. So,
Right. So the bottom line is, if you play a full Danger deck, you just play straight Dangers. That's it. If you play pure
yeah,
Dangers,
pretty
it's
much
pretty good.
dangers and all zombies, and it's really good if you play it, but it's not consistent. It's not competitive. I see that version of zombies more casual.
Okay, copy. And then the bread and butter, probably one of the most hated cards ever. Doom King Balderrock.
The greatest zombie monster ever printed.
Jesus Christ, dude, this card's
Technically,
so strong.
he just says no to Eldritch, because if you banish Eldritch, all those trap cards become vanilla cards, and they do nothing. So when it comes to matching up against Eldritch, if I just banish their Doom King, their Eldritch, they'll be out of place. Obviously, they have all their other combos, but
Right.
Zombie World on the field, there's no Auroradon.
Right, exactly.
So they have to really just out my Z World. And if they play any type of field spell, you already know what happens. He's coming back.
Right, and irregardless, like, you, depending on how you time your negates or you time your banishes, that can really mess up your opponent's plays. Like, let's say, like, you know they're trying to go for Nightmare Phoenix, then you can banish something preemptively. Or you wait until they go into Phoenix, and then you negate it, right?
Yeah, straight up negate Phoenix, but that's why cards like Banshee and Barricade Borg are in the deck, because Barricade Borg on the field obviously is protection to my field spells.
Mm-hmm.
I got the Herald for the Omni negate. I got the F8 Dong Dragster for any back row problematic cards that can pop Z World. There's
Right.
a lot of protection in the deck. Like, there's really a lot. And playing Banshee at 2 is a perfect ratio, because you don't want to see it at 3, because it kind of does nothing in your hand. You want to have it in the grave as quickly as possible.
Right. And then this card is like a potential brick too if you have in your hand, because it kind of just, it's kind of there.
Yeah, and honestly, if you open Doom King in your hand, but you have cards like Jet Synchron, Quick Draw Synchron, Unizombie, it's okay, because, or Apprentice, because it's going to easily just get discarded. So sometimes opening Doom King isn't bad, but there's definitely better cards you'd rather have in.
You'd rather not open it, but when you do, like, you have tools in this deck to get it to the graveyard from your hand.
Yeah, there's too many ways to dump Doom King from my hand, and I play tuning at 3 just because I can mill him off that tuning himself. So
Right.
there's plenty of ways to dump it into the grave.
Okay. And then one Glow Up Bloom, the GOAT.
This is a card that I've honestly thought about taking out, but playing it at 1 is not bad, because if you just Needle Fiber with Z World on the field, it just can get you the free Doom King, and then you could just go from there.
Mm.
But once you Needle Fiber out the Glow Up Bloom, if you have other cards like Arborea or an O-Line ways to extend, you can make the IP, get the Doom King, and then sit on that, and you have the Doom King, the IP, and the Needle Fiber to go off during the opponent's.
Yeah, this card is very good. That's just bottom line. But you don't want to ever see in your hand. It's like kind of like Garnet, right?
You can
Kind
call
of.
it the Garnet of the deck, but you can special summon it from your hand off a Needle Fiber, so it's not too bad. And if you already have Zero on the field, Unizombie, and you just have it in your hand, it's just, okay, I'll just pitch this after I get everything else off, because once you use his effect, you are locked into only summoning zombies for the rest of the turn. And the only other zombie monster in my extra deck is Vampire Sucker. I only play her at 1 because she's just draw fodder, and she has this weird effect that nobody uses. But if I did have to tragically tribute summon, I can just tribute my opponent's monsters that are zombies as if I control them.
Huh. I've seen that go off like maybe once or twice.
It's very rare. Nobody really uses it. It's just a way to draw fodder. You can get a draw out of it by targeting a monster in the opponent's grave and special summoning it, and it becomes a zombie, and then you just draw a card. Or you could just have the sucker and have Doom King in the grave and let Doom King come back and draw, and then chain to that and banish a monster off the field.
Ah, I see. So, I mean, I guess it's niche, but could come in handy. Like, let's say you have Z-World on the field and you have a Balderrock, and they have like a problematic card that needs to be tributed. Then you can use Sucker to tribute their monster to summon Balderrock. That's like a niche option, or like you can even tribute like Nessie, dude. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
and
Or
it
Apprentice
don't
Illusion.
honestly,
Yeah.
it's an effect I've never really used. Maybe casually, like in the house, I probably use it against my cousin, but never at like a competitive locals or regional. I've never used that effect against anybody.
Well, it's a continuous effect, so it doesn't
Yeah,
actually activate. So if let's say they have Gamma Seal, right, and you happen to have Sucker already in the field, and they didn't get rid of it, you can tribute it to summon your Apprentice Illusion, which is pretty neat.
yeah, and there's nothing to stop that.
Yeah.
Now, I will say this, it's that's why I only play it at one because it really that's like it has a small purpose. It's just more so for the draw fodder,
Hmm.
and it's just free synergy with the deck. A link too.
Right.
You got perfect arrows for other link plays.
Hmm.
Decks like Cyber Dragon like to contact, so if I summon like good like an IP under her or a needle fiber or my boar sword, like they can't contact that off.
Yeah. Exactly. Like it's niche, and if people don't fully read Vampire Sucker, there's like two paragraphs on there, but like if people don't fully read it, they can get blindsided.
Yeah, it definitely can catch people off guard for sure.
Hmm. All right. Next card. Marauding Captain. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Doesn't this bring you way back in
That's like
time?
GX era, dude.
Well, I mean, sometimes you gotta try things a little different, things that people are not expecting. They're gonna see Maraud and Captain and just go, "What?" Like, which is fine because they're not gonna see the play that's coming after you.
Right.
So I can normal summon this and special summon any level 4 or lower monster from my hand. So that can be Ash, Arborea,
Hmm.
Jackalope, Mothman, Snake, Glow Up Bloom, Jet, another Maraudin for the lock if necessary, but never really done. The O-Lion, Mizuki, Banshee, Solitaire,
Hmm.
Unizombie. The I have too many targets. It works so well. It's actually pretty good and it allows the link climb and it's basically needle fiber turbo.
So what happens? Like, well, let me rephrase this. So how often does this card get impermed? Like, does your opponent wait for you to do something before they imperm it, or?
Well, honestly, like since the whole thing has gone down, I haven't really played obviously like with people, but online I haven't really seen a lot of in perms on this. They normally wait for the needle fiber to do anything, which is the smart play,
Hmm.
honestly. But even if they were to in perm this, veeler this, or find some type of way to negate this, I still have too many extenders in my hand. I can have a apprentice. I can have the O line. I can have the Jet Synchron. Like ways to pitch cards and get a tuner on the field. There's too many things in this deck. Like and even having tuning, it's like okay,
Hmm.
if I tuning out this quick draw, and mill a Doom King, it's pretty much over from there because I'll just pitch any card in my hand, special the quick draw, and go off.
Yeah. Okay. Copy. Copy. All right. Next, we got O Lion. Oh boy,
E-
this card is busted, dude.
Everybody's playing O Lion, so it's like just join the party at that point. But another great extender, honestly, just two. It's basically two monsters in one, and when you look
Hmm.
at it like that, because it's just wherever it's sent from, hand, deck, field, you get the token.
Right.
So no matter what, it's a guaranteed two body. And I really hope this doesn't get banned. I know about this reprint, so I'm kind of looking forward to it. And I just picked up my O line recently,
Hmm.
while it was still 10. Now they're 20s.
Jesus, what?
Yeah, they're sitting kind of high right now.
Yeah, this
So
card is
I picked it up.
extremely good.
Well, you only play it at one. Technically, don't need more than one. And I'm not playing Auroradon in this specific build,
Hmm.
so I don't really see the reason to play more than one. But
Yeah.
it's really good. It's just like I said, two bodies that you can use for anything. Make
The
the
only
heroes.
major problem with this is effect filler. If somebody effect fillers your O line, that kind of hurts.
Well, if they affect Villa the O line, that's fine, but in Grave, that's completely different.
What do you mean?
Like I don't use his on field effect. I use more so
No,
just
no,
like
no.
just to get the
From what my understanding of how this card works, if somebody veilers the O line, you don't get the grave effect.
really.
Same with Lone Fire.
I have not come across that, so that was kind of interesting to learn.
Yeah, I was
But
watching the finals of the LCS last night, and somebody was talking about like how like this the opponent wasn't summoning O line because he didn't want it to get veilered.
it's kind of interesting. I never seen that. I would like to actually see that.
Yeah, because let me read effect filler. I'm gonna digress here really fast. Negate the effects of that face-up monster your opponent controls. The effects of that
Ah,
monster, that particular monster. So if they
hmm,
effect filler that
quite
on summon,
interesting.
yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. Anyway, that's like
Hmm.
complicated rules. I don't want to get into that here. So, let's, card is really good, and we're gonna move on to Mizuki.
Triple Mizuki.
Oh boy.
He is the greatest extender to this deck. He is Monster Reborn for any of these beautiful cards in the grave as long as Zombie World is on the field.
Mhm.
It's just I can bring back anything. If I have Boar Sword in the grave, I'll just banish Mizuki, bring him back. If I have IP in the grave, I'll banish Mizuki, bring back IP. It's so good.
Yeah, with Zombie Board is literally a free monster reborn, and it's not once per turn.
And basically playing three Mizuki and one Monster Reborn, that's basically four.
Yeah, except this monster reborn, this Mizuki is not a spell card, and you can activate it from your graveyard, which is even better.
Yes. And they can't imperm my Mizuki.
Mhm. Perfect. Yeah, I hate this card, dude. I've
Hey man,
seen
it's
it so
it's
many times, dude. Across like the years, like playing even way back like 10 years ago. Every time I see the card, I'm like, dang, dude, that's rough.
just just know if my boy was dark, he'd definitely be banned.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. That would be disgusting. All right, Necro Banshee. We've already touched upon it a little bit, but let's touch upon it a little bit more. Two
So
Banshees.
when she, yes, two Banshee because she is a quick effect while on the field or in the grave where I can banish her and activate Zombie World straight from the deck or my hand.
Okay.
And another effect that a lot of people don't pay attention to is while she's face up on the field, neither player can target or destroy Zombie World with card effects. So she's also a form of protection. I have played a version where I did run three, but like I said, she really kind of does nothing in the hand, and I
Mm,
don't want her to be my normal summon.
right.
So I really would just love to discard her as quickly as possible or dump her to the grave as quickly as possible off the Unizombie, off a Jet Synchron discard, Apprentice discard, even a Foolish Burial. Like it's all there. And even mill it off a tuning. It's really all free at that point.
Okay. Have you considered? Because I know you talk about like discarding, getting effects off the grave. Have you considered playing card destruction at all?
I have, and I did used to play Card Destruction and Zombie Orcus, but
Yeah.
Card Destruction works for both people and not just one. And
Hmm.
if it worked for just me, then I definitely would play it. But I
And
don't
that
want
would
to give
definitely
my
be banned.
it definitely would be banned, but at that point, I don't want to give my opponent a chance to discard cards, especially if you're matching up against like Eldritch or Orcus,
Right.
or just for like card decks like that really prosper with cards being discarded. So I can't help them in this sense. That's why playing Mothman at one is perfectly fine because one card does nothing unless it's Jet Synchron.
Right. You don't want to give your opponent the potential to come back even further because you play card destruction, and it doesn't even guarantee that you're gonna get a good hand after.
Exactly, it's a gamble that I'm most likely not gonna ever take with this particular build.
Damn, rip, dude. I think I would take the gamble though. I'm that kind of person.
Well, I mean, there are cards I am looking into teching in and testing. Like, I want to play cards like Vampire Fall, and she's really good and has so much synergy with zombies.
Yeah.
And her effect just allows me to go for the OTK push. It's just a matter of seeing her.
Hmm.
And I can easily search her out with Glow Bloom, but I just want to like there's other cards I want to see. Like I don't want to rely on the Frolin. So that's why I don't play it right now.
Right. That Frolin is a blowout though, because in some cases they can't get over it. Your opponent literally just can't get over it.
In a more pure build, I definitely would play it for sure. But this
Hmm.
is more of a combo variant with obviously a lot of different things. So Frolin kind of doesn't fit the picture right now.
Hmm.
It can possibly see us as some side deck play in the future, for sure.
Yeah.
Just because like, all these boss monsters and Borload Savage gaining attack and everybody now access Cold Talker as a card for sure. So
Right. And the best part
they're
about Fraulein is if you somehow kill that monster by battle at the end of the battle phase, it's yours. That's your monster.
yes. It's basically a mind control, a permanent mind control.
Except you can do whatever you want with it. You can even attack with it.
Oh yeah. Change of heart basically.
Hmm. Right. Okay. I can see why you don't run it either, because like this is like a combo deck, and that kind of doesn't really help the combo that much. It just kind of for like protection.
Like it's more so protection and it's a way to push for an OTK.
Hmm.
This deck can push for an OTK too at that. It's just there are better cards to be played right now than Vampire Frost.
Right. And also with
And
the
especially
Fallen, I just noticed that any of your zombie monsters get the buff, not just itself. Any.
yes, any zombie. So with Zombie World on the field and I have cards like possibly an Access Cold Talker, I can really end the game for sure.
Right, because you can pay up to 3,000 life points and then have it become like 8,300. That's a
But that's
that's
why but that is a very valid point, but that's why cards like Boar Sword and Mech Knight Crusader Avermax are in my deck because they gain attack freely, so
hmm
it works really well. So I can still do the same thing without really
right,
having to expend more resources.
right, and also like, Abramax, if they happen to kill it, then you know what happens to one of their cards.
Oh yeah, for sure. Bye bye.
All right, let's go into C Archiver. Wait, a quick draw synchron first.
Quick Draw Synchron is basically like Apprentice Illusion Magician, just a tuner. Just
Hmm.
discard any monster basically, and you can go from there.
Right. Okay.
And basically with Quick Draw, it's like you can discard basically like I was saying with other cards like Banshee, Jet, Bloom, Doom King, a Danger. It's free. It's basically a free way to turbo into Needle Fiber. This is a card I thought about upping to 2, but it's just because it's strictly required to discard a monster. It
Right.
it can kind of like it just like it at 1. As for
Right.
Apprentice, it's any card, so if I necessarily had to discard a spell, I can do it. As for Quick Draw, if I had a spell and just him, I can't do nothing.
Yeah. So he's more bricky, so to speak.
He's more bricky, but he can be really good at the same time. It's just that's why you play him at 1, and you can search him with tuning and mill another card.
Right. Let me read tuning here. So tuning is a synchron tuner. Oh, so you have three targets. You have two jet synchron and one quick draw, right?
Yeah, I played 3 targets. I was originally just playing 1 Jet Synchron, but might as well play it so it's max capacity. I mean, I'm playing it at 2 just because there's other cards I want to see in my hand,
Mm.
but might as well just play it while it's still free, right?
Oh, right, right. Okay. Now to see Archiver.
So with C Archiver, it's a one of. I was playing it at 2 at one point, but I dropped it to 1 because I was seeing it. I wasn't seeing it enough, but now since I cut it to 1, I seem to see it all the time.
That's
But
weird.
when I have, yeah, I really Yu-Gi-Oh for you. That's Yu-Gi-Oh for you.
Hmm.
But if I get like, if I have a Crusadia in my hand, or I resolve Needle Fiber by summoning level 3 or lower tuner from the deck, I'll just special summon it to a zone it points to, so that way Sea Archiver can be a free special summon from hand or grave, and then from there I'll just make Herald of Arclight and proceed to combo off someone.
Ah, oh, see. Okay. Okay, got it.
It's one
Yeah.
of those level 3 targets for Herald,
Hmm.
and just another extender, honestly. Possibly the Link Climb, Synchro Climb, however you want to put it.
Hmm. Okay. Next is 2 Shiranui Solitaire.
He is a card that most people like to play at 3, but because I have a lot of extenders, like I play the 2 Maraudins, it's really good. Just tribute them off, make Unizombie, or if I have Maraudin and Solitaire in hand, I'll just normal Maraudin, special Solitaire, and then go from there. Go into my Needle Fiber plays, go into my Unizombie plays.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's really good. He has a banished effect, but I don't play enough target. I don't play no other targets for him because he can't special summon himself from the banished.
So it seems like I'm reading Solitaire's effect, and it's very good. You could tribute it, special summon a zombie monster from the deck. Pretty much every zombie monster has 0 defense, or most of them do. The good ones.
Well, it specifically says a zombie tuner, so the 4 targets are Glow Up Bloom and 3 Unizombie.
Okay, that's why you don't play 3, because you don't really need it that bad, right?
I don't need it that bad, but seeing it, if I see this and don't have Unizombie, that's basically having Unizombie, and I'm basically playing Unizombie at 5 at this point.
Right, because you primarily summon Unizombie, primarily.
Unizombie is the most important summon to this deck. Like, Marauding Captain's just a bonus.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to have, and it's a free extender. Like I said, he's another way into Needle Fiber Turbo, but Unizombie is the main normal summon.
Okay, got it. Okay, that's Foolish Burial.
The greatest card ever printed for zombies.
There's no explanation for this card because it's just so good in so many decks.
It's self-explanatory, honestly, but like I'll still give a little reason for it, obviously. But basically, Foolish Burial. If I don't have a way to mill, if I get ashed on the Unizombie and still have Foolish Burial, I'll basically be okay. That's basically my recovery. But it's still free. Obviously, just dumping anything that I need in the grave. Jet, Doom, Gloom, like it's all there.
That rhyme, dude.
Yeah, man.
Doom and gloom.
Got bars.
All right, Monster Reborn. So that's those are your 5 Monster Reborns right there. The 3 Mizuki, the Foolish Burial, the Monster Reborn.
Yeah, it's all free. Honestly, Monster Reborn. Obviously, if they have the opponent has a problematic monster in the grave that I would like to use against them, I'll obviously go for that.
Right.
But in my case, if they stop Doom King from coming back from the grave, that's just one way to bring them back. Just bring back another extender to finish off a combo. It's just a free card, honestly. I also thought about playing World Legacy Succession, but I don't really have a lot of link arrows open like that.
Right.
Most of the time. So that's why I just play the Monster Reborn. And Mizuki brings back anything from the grave too, for me on my side.
Plus the Monster Reborn obviously comes in clutch because your opponent has like a Boral Sword in the graveyard that they summon successfully. You take it, right?
Exact. Boar Sword for game and then make my own Boar Sword. Oh, lovely.
Oh, the double. Alright, Pot of Avarice, that's self-explanatory too, right?
Shuffle back the 4 Dangers and a Unizombie. Shuffle back the Old Lion. You know, shuffle back all the good cards. All the spice.
Right, and then draw 2 after too.
And, you know, it's funny, playing Pot of Avarice, this actually came in really clutch against you in one of our replays. I Pot of Avarice back 5 cards and drew a Unizombie and the Monster Reborn.
Wow, what a sack, dude.
I know.
Next, Reinforcement of the Army. What are you grabbing with this? Just Marauding Captain?
So, Maraudin or Arborea.
Oh, right.
So I have 4 targets, so I mean it's free. Just another way to thin out the deck a little bit and get some more extensions to my play. So plays another way to bait out the Ash too. Because if I have Unizombie and this, I'll just activate Rhoda first, bait that out, so that way Unizombie can just go off.
Right. Because the key point or key part of this format nowadays is you have to bait out hand traps. Because you have to assume like pretty much every deck is playing hand traps. Valor, Ash, even Moonlight Chill, dude.
Moonlight Chill is it's a really strong card. It's just basically like another effect veiler in a sense.
Right.
And it's really good. I like the artwork for sure. Definitely need my own playset.
Yeah, it hurts combo decks a lot because like you know the Needle Fiber combo, then they can just play that card, and then now they're kind of stuck and then they got burned life points.
It's really hard to play like a lot of hand traps in this deck because it definitely will mess with the consistency.
Right.
I do have another build with more hand traps in it. I'm
Hmm.
just still testing it out. It's just I've been really like it's been really bricky with a lot of hand traps. Like, and I don't like playing bricky cards like that. Like, yeah, they're good hand traps. It stops the opponent, but what happens if I win the die roll and decide to go first and just draw three
Right.
Nibiru and two apps?
That's
Like,
why. That's
what?
why you pick between like you're playing combo. Then you want to see as much as possible. So you want to mitigate any chance of you messing up your combo, and your whole side is just
Exactly.
built to go second if you need to.
Exactly. And if you look at my side, I do have the three called by the grapes to beat around hand traps, and I do
Hmm.
have the Nibiru there.
Right.
And I already know what I would side out if I was going to put in those six cards specifically. So it's
Hmm.
a really good, it's kind of self-explanatory. Like you can look at the deck and see for yourself what would come out just for those six cards because
Right.
it's right there. It's the answer is right there, you know. It's really good. I like my side. It's really strong. I'm thinking
Hmm.
about turning the twins into cosmics just because what if I don't have that discard fodder at that
Well,
moment?
not just that, but with the twin twisters, I know like you want to discard stuff, but with Eldritch, you if you play against Eldritch, twin twisters not gonna do anything, dude.
Yeah, that's why
That
those will
that
be
gives them a
turning into
plus,
cosmics.
right? Because they'll be like, okay, you
So
can twin twist my card. I'll just activate them during end phase and get free plus.
and then if people are actually playing cards like Sanctum and or the artifact cards face down, like that really that really hurts. So
Hmm.
playing Cosmic is more so the better choice. And I don't
Right.
play a lot of cards that I don't play cards that burn me for damage at all. So spending those 3,000 life points won't do much to me.
Right. Okay. Terraforming zombie world. That's self-explanatory, bro.
I mean, you can't play zombies without Z World, and Terraforming is basically my third Banshee, just because I can't play a third Banshee right now.
Right. And then terraforming is just better because like you want the zombie world on pronto. You don't want to use an effect because what if they have like some kind of negation in the graveyard? I know like most people don't play negation like that, like what is it, ghost spell, but it comes up sometimes.
So here's the funny thing. If I open a hand with Solitaire, Terraforming, or Foolish Burial, no matter what, Zombie World will hit the field.
Right.
It's really busted, and it's just like, okay, you can stop the Terraforming, Foolish Burial,
Hmm.
and now you lose.
Right. So you just have you have like extra outs, or extra ways to go around cards.
Yeah, there's this deck is just so consistent. It's really good, and I would recommend anyone to try this out and feel free to make your own adjustments to it as you see fit. But for me, this has been the perfect ratios. This
Hmm.
all has worked really well. I've been seeing the Ash on perfect timings. I see it in
Hmm.
the opening hand, and it just doesn't hurt me.
Right.
It only hurts if you obviously see all three, but seeing two doesn't hurt as long as you have a Unizombie and another card extender in your hand,
Yep.
which is always going to be the case.
And you can also psych out your opponent too, because if you discard an Ash off of like Unizombie or something, then your opponent might be under the impression that you have another Ash in your hand. You can psych them out like
Exactly.
that.
Another way, mind games really work.
Hmm. Exactly.
Got to hit him with the mind shuffle, Yugi boy.
The Mind Crush, dude. All right, let's see. I see some spice in this extra deck, so let's get right into it. Borreload
So we got,
Savage.
yeah, he is a very, very broken card, and I cannot believe I got him while he was just like, I think I pulled him, believe. When I think yeah, I did pull him.
Yeah, well,
I did pull him
he's
for,
like $85 now, $80, something like that.
oh my God.
That's ridiculous, bro. I remember reading
Well,
this card for the first time, and I'm like, this card is very good. It's not even good. It's very good.
so when I first pulled him, I never really played him because the deck I was playing back then, the Zombie Orcus, wasn't really like going so well at that time.
Hmm.
But then I started to incorporate him, and then I realized how good he was, and then things just took off from there.
Right. Because Omni Negation,
And
like, what else do you want?
I mean, it's like you could put him in attack mode because you could just negate the Lightning Storm,
Hmm.
and playing Herald of Arc Light as well just allows me to negate the evenly or whatever they have just to get by things, or even that Mystic Mind, because Mystic Mind is a card that not only infuriates me, it makes me flip the table.
Yeah, negates the activation of Mystic Mind. So if they leave it on the field, then on the next turn it'll be live. You know that, right?
Yeah,
Which really sucks because it doesn't destroy any cards. Bolo Savage just says negate the activation. So if they play, let's say they Lightning Storm you, right, and you negate the activation, your opponent can activate another Lightning Storm because there was no activation of the first one anyways too. So that's something to keep in mind.
yeah, the new rule, that new rule now has kicked in, I see.
Well, it's just been there. It hasn't been a new rule, I don't think. But anyways, let's look into FA Dawn Dragster. More negates.
Another way to just negate cards like uh Lightning Storm, evenly matched, Mystic Mind, it's just like this deck can lose to back row really badly.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's an honest opinion. And playing like I play my boy Tyron a lot and he plays back row Cyber Dragons and it's a really good build.
Mm-hmm.
And if he goes first and sets up his double infinity under MR5 rules
Oh,
with yeah, and then just sets four and pass, it's just like okay, scoop. Like it's really like it's not good against back row variant decks. Like I have a hard time against gurus because they just have all these flip effects. The Phoenix is just annoying.
yes.
So playing cards like Call by the Grave, Evenlies, and the Twins, which will now be Cosmics, will become very useful to counteract all of that.
And Altergeist too. Oh man.
Altergeist is annoying.
With their
But
Siliquis and then they return stuff to your hand and then they got the strike.
back row.
That seems to be like for most combo decks that's their kryptonite.
Well, I mean, it's definitely kryptonite, but I mean, Zombie World is kryptonite to a lot of the meta now.
Yeah. So you pick your battles, right?
I pick my battles, honestly. Like, I'll look for someone playing Dinos any day,
Mm-hmm. That matchup's so funny. Dinos versus zombies.
and I just activate Zombie World and just extend my hand across the table.
Mm-hmm. Right. Now Herald of Arc Light. Is that the Omni Negate as well?
This is an Omni Negate as well as a floating Macro Cosmos. Any monster sent from the hand or deck to the graveyard will be banished instead. So this is a card I would summon after I've mostly got my Doom King combo off, so that way I don't miss out on that.
Mm-hmm.
This is the way to finish off the combo, set it up, and just like I've been saying, just ways to get around cards like the Evenlies, the Mystic Mind,
Right.
even could even negate um can even negate an Ash. Honestly, just a
Mm-hmm.
free call by the grave at the same time.
Right. And they can't play Valor under Herald of Arc Light because Valor specifically says discard from hands to the graveyard. And since you're not touching the graveyard, they can't Valor you.
Exactly, and cards like Fiendus also won't work too.
Right. Yeah, good card.
Very good card.
Okay, next one. Omega.
So I use Omega for the effect of just returning banished cards back to the grave, which would mean extra Mizukis, another Banshee, bring back the Jet Synchron.
Mm-hmm.
It's really, really busted in that case.
Oh, wait, that's so
Milling
good.
cards, yes, and this would happen during your standby phase, as
Mm-hmm.
Doom King would also be returning.
Right.
Now, if you DD Crowed my Doom King on standby phase, I'll chain the Omega to return the Doom King, and then Doom King will resolve.
Right. So it's just good, like an extra protection card, and also occasionally you can use the first effect, which rips a card out of your opponent's hand. So after you finish doing your shenanigans with Omega, you can rip one card out of their hand, see what it is, and they can't use that card until the next turn.
Well, they'll get it back, and it'll be really good because Omega is just another 28 beat stick, and most
Mhm.
likely another and 9 out of 10 another zombie that's Doom King's going to react with. to
Right.
chain other stuff and banish. It's so good. It's basically the best synchro made for zombies ever.
Yeah, I think so too. It's really good. Just getting control of your graveyard and banish piles is always a good thing for zombies.
I wish he was at more than one, but he's perfect
No,
right
there's a
now.
reason why he's at one. I remember when people were playing triple omega and they summon it, and you, if you went second, your opening hand would be 3 cards. That sucks.
And yeah, I know. I know.
All right, shooting Riser Dragon.
Well, this is a card I can make generically, no problem, but he is my needle fiber target. And it's really good because when I have IP on the field and I go into shooting riser, it just allows me to dump the Mizuki or the Banshee, and from there I'll just IP into my Avermax or my Unicorn, whatever seems to fit the situation best or whatever I can make at that given moment.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's really good, and it's another beat stick, another way to chain with Doom King.
Mm-hmm. Have you considered playing what is it called? Desert Locust. Do you know that card?
Yes, I do have the card, and it's really good. And I haven't really tested it much. I know that it can make a really good impact on the deck. I just haven't really got to test him much, and that's one of the cards I have been looking into.
Mm-hmm. Because it rips 1 card out of your opponent's hand, so if you combine that with Omega, you can rip 2 cards.
One card I was testing was Trishula, the Ice Dragon Barrier,
The fusion or the synchro?
the Synchro.
Okay, got it.
That was a card I was testing. It's because I do have a lot of level threes in here. I can easily make it, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a card that would have to be made mid to late game for me because I like to go first. So that's why I don't play it. And it's just like if I can't commit to it, then I'm not going to play it so hard.
Is it really easy for you to make level 9s in this deck?
Yeah, because Unizombie's a level 3, and I can target any monster on the field and increase their level. So I can just like have Unizombie, Sea Archiver, and the Jackalope on the field and just target monsters on my opponent's field and increase their level and keep everything threes and just go into Trishula.
So I thought
Also,
of
the
a
old
spicy
Lion
thing for
tokens
you.
level 3.
A spicy thing for you for level 9. Do you know about the
I-
new
I-
fish? The new fish synchro, the level
Yes.
9?
That was a card I definitely did test out, and it's just I can't really get to him consistently as I would like to. So I would probably have to do some editing to the deck and make some adjustments to try to fit that in there.
Mm. Because it lets you draw 2, so it's pretty nifty for a level 9.
Oh yeah, for sure. And if I use like a bunch of non-tuners, I can just draw as many cards as I want. Like I can turn that into +3, +4 possibly.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I like to see it if it's tested. And also, its quick effect lets you discard stuff too, so you can throw your opponent off guard.
I'm gonna definitely test it, and I'll let you know on those replays.
Yeah. Alright, sounds good. Access Code Talker.
So this is the only card currently in my deck post Eternity Code, and I haven't played with it that much, but this card is so busted and he is so good that it's gonna really take this deck to the next level, and people need to understand that if it cannot be responded to, it's really, really good.
Right, because it just straight up destroys 1 card, and you can do that multiple times depending on what attributes you have in your graveyard. And plus, it's
And
big.
this deck plays a lot of different attributes, which makes it so much more broken.
I agree with that one. Appaloosa, the queen.
I like to call her applesauce because once you put her on the game, it just sauces the opponent. It just says no. She says no up to 4 times.
Right.
And I've honestly been, when I've been playing with Appaloosa, every time I get her on the board, I get a lot of scoops. Some people can get around it, obviously, if they play kaijus and things like that.
Yeah.
Mystic Mine is a card I can't negate, obviously, but This card is just really good against like decks like Heroes, Orcus, just ways to negate multiple times
Right.
just to get by them. So getting this on the field with 4 negates is really good, especially under IP, because you can't destroy her.
Right. It's just straight up probably one of, if not the best Link 4 next to Access Code at the moment.
I'm so glad I bought her when she was 50.
Yo, same here, bro. Like, I got her so cheap. Well, like, 50 is not cheap, but, like, compared to how much she is
50,
now, yes.
50 is cheap in Yu-Gi-Oh terms.
Alright, Barricade Board Blocker. That's a TCG exclusive card, if y'all didn't know.
Yes, yes, it is. And he is Zombie World Protection, Zombie World Recursion, and a free discard fodder from hand, which
Hmm.
is really good on all 3 levels. I can pitch a Zombie World, protect my current Zombie World on the field, and then in the end phase pick up that same Zombie World I discarded.
Right.
I can go Barricade Board and pitch Doom King. I can pitch Glow Up Bloom. I can do Jet Synchron. I can just go off. It's just so good, and I mean, whoever's playing decks that are relied on the graveyard and don't play this card, I don't know what to tell you.
It's a free discard, dude. Like, what more can you want, right?
What more can you ask for? This deck just discards cards.
Hmm.
I was testing a card like I was testing Dark World Dealings, but like I said, I don't want to help my opponent draw or fix their hand, so
Hmm.
that's why I don't play Dark World Dealing.
Okay. One Borrow Sword.
It just says game. That's just game. You want to win, you play Boar Sword.
Yeah, that's the bottom line. If you see Borrow Sword, and you have a big boy on board, you have a Balderrock on board, that's game. Pretty much.
It just says game. You want to
Hmm.
win, you play Boar Sword. If you don't want to win, oh, that's on you.
Christian Needlefiber. So that's the combo starter of the deck.
This card has sent me. This card makes cards like Unizombie so much stronger. Unizombie just got about 10 times better just because of Needle Fiber.
Hmm.
I can Unizombie, discard a card from my hand, mill a card to the graveyard, then go off from there, make my Needle Fiber, most likely have Z-Roll on the field already,
Hmm.
and then just make the Bloom, make the Herald, set up an Omni Negate, get the IP, and with that, Needle Fiber into Shooting Riser while Doom King's on the field. It's just so broken. It's really good. It's really consistent. And I only play it at 1. I don't really need to play it at 2. It's a card I can bring back with Mizuki or even Psyframe Omega. Bring them back to the grave, Mizuki and back.
Hmm.
I only need the combo to resolve once, honestly. Once I set up my board, it's pretty much game over.
Right. IP Masquerena.
My sweetheart, my wife, she just makes all my Link 4s, all my Link 3s, any card I link summon with her just indestructible. She's just perfect,
Hmm.
honestly. What more can you ask for? She's just protection without even being on the field.
Right.
Once you make Avermax with her, it's just good night, because now you're not getting over my boy.
Right.
You make Appaloosa,
Indestructible, and it can't be targeted, and it has to be attacked.
exactly, what more can you ask for? You can have Doom King on the field with Avermax under IP, and you need to out my Doom King so you don't get interrupted,
Uh huh.
and you're forced into attack to mech. You're forced to attack into the mech.
Right. Nightmare Unicorn. I also noticed you're not playing Phoenix. Is there a reason for that? Like, would you
Phoenix,
play it if you could fit it?
if I could fit it, I definitely would. It's just that the extra deck is really tight. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I've been debating on the Union Carrier thing. Like, Union Carrier is just another way to bring out um other zombies. Like, I can target Doom King and attach him with Mizuki.
Mm-hmm.
Like, ways to just go off from there. But I just noticed I'm missing my Buster Dragon Sword, so that's a card that should be in here. But that was
Okay.
normally my target. That was my target for Union Carrier.
Okay. I'm just gonna put that right in there. and then I'll make sure I'll put a note. Robot Dragon Buster Destruction Sword, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool, cool, cool.
Other than that, it's pretty much like I go for the Buster Lock with the Union Carrier. So if Union Carrier didn't exist, I'd definitely still be playing Phoenix.
Mm-hmm. Right. I was about to ask about that. I was like, wait, you're playing Union Carrier without the Buster Dragon?
No, I did have it in there. That's one card I forgot to add to that profile, but it's definitely what I'm gonna be playing for sure.
Okay, absolutely. All right, that's pretty much it for the extra deck, and let's go right into the sideboard. 3, Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
My boy's gonna rock your world, man.
It's so strong, dude.
So this is a card that will potentially be playing in the main. I just need to find a space for it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really good in this format just because the Mecha Fancy Beast Auroradon combo is the most popular combo currently, along with the Adamantipator combo.
Right.
And now we all know Block Dragon's getting banned, so I don't have to worry about that card. But Adamanticators can play right through Nibiru, so that's something you got to be very careful with.
Yeah.
As for Eldritch, you hit the Auroradon combo right then and there. They have no choice but to set 4 and pass. So, and Orcus can really recur themselves a lot from the grave, so you have to be careful with their summons. You got to catch them at the right point. And Orcus is catching a lot of heat right now, especially with Girsu being released.
Oh, Gearsu's so strong, dude.
I'm gonna pick up my playset. Trust me. I'm gonna make Zombie Orcus relevant again.
You do you, man. I like to see it. You got to go back on the channel when you do.
Yo, I got you. Trust me. I've been in the lab on that for some time.
All right, 3, Dink Ruler No More.
It just says no. It's a simple way to just. So if I know I'm going second, I'm definitely siding this in because this is a card I want to see first turn,
Right.
and I need to be able to successfully resolve my combos. And now I know against Eldritch they can just chain a trap and then chain the Borlo to negate. Like there's ways around Dark Ruler, but they have to have those outs or else.
Right.
And if I successfully resolve Dark Ruler with no issues, then it's combo off, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I can negate Ash with Doom King, so if they try to Ash me, I'm gonna just say no.
Right. So, Call by the Grave, same reason. You know, Ash, DD Crow,
Same reason.
Hand Trap.
Hand traps are a problem, and they are going to be a problem because obviously everybody's expecting the Auroradon Adamantipator combo, no matter what they're playing.
Right.
So I'm playing Zombie, so they're automatically going to assume Eldritch, not knowing that Doom King's coming for this win.
Right. And then 3, Cosmics. These are Twin Twisters, but now they're Cosmics.
Yes, Cosmic is just a way to break pendulum scales, any way to get out of Mystic Mine, problematic cards, a way to remove the negates from Borload Savage if he's already used one and has like 3 more left. Just back row removal, problematic cards. Just there's a lot of good cards in the game right now that can hurt me. So I gotta be very careful with back row. That is like the biggest weakness to this deck, but there is ways to play around it. There are so many cards that get around back row. So
Okay, last but not least, Evenly Match. Blowout card of the decade.
It is the greatest trap card ever created by man. Like, who allowed this?
It's so strong, dude.
Like, whose man's is this? Let me stop. But Evenly Matched is a very, very good card, and I'm very lucky to have picked up my playset just before they spiked right back up. So I was sitting on 2 copies for a very long time, and then a good friend of mine, Mario, had given me his Evenly. I bought it off of him for like 15 at the time when they were still cheap. I just like to play. I want to be able to have a chance to win. I know zombies are not the top tier deck in the meta, and I understand that. And I know if I really want to play top tier, I can just go do that. but I
Right.
love zombies just like you love Crusadia.
Mm-hmm.
So when you love a deck so much, you're gonna play it as much as you can and try to make it to the best of your ability.
Right.
And there's nothing more you can ask for than that.
Exactly, dude. Okay, that concludes the deck profile. Is there any last words you want to say to like your viewers? You want to give any shout outs to anybody about
Well,
this deck?
shout out to my boy Tyron for being there to help me with this. My boy Ben, he's also been very helpful with this. Mario's been very helpful. And I want to thank you for doing this with me. Like, really helped me get this deck right a little bit yourself
Mm-hmm.
too. We had some good matches playing,
Oh yeah.
and definitely looking forward to doing this more often. Like, I definitely got some builds I want to show you too. So
Mm-hmm.
definitely won't be the last time.
All right, thank you, Brian. Everybody, let me know down below if you enjoyed the video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, or dislike. Doesn't matter to me. We got Brian Rodriguez, and don't forget, everyone, it's time to duel.
The world ends now.